Can police search a car for registration and insurance? All right. Hey, guys. My name is Anthony Bandiero, attorney and senior legal instructor for Blue to Gold Law Enforcement Training. I really appreciate all the support and the feedback you have given me on these roadside chats. They really help a lot, right? They give a lot of meaning and context to the Fourth Amendment, and that's my goal. All right. So let's talk about this. So the officer here in California says, can I conduct a limited search of registration and insurance from the driver of a rental vehicle if they refuse to provide it? And what if the glove box is locked and they refuse to open it, right? So when I asked the driver if he wouldn't mind looking for the documents, he stated he didn't have it. I asked him if it was in the glove box, and he stated he didn't know. I asked him if he could check, and he related that he didn't want to, and it was locked. Observed a key in between the passenger's legs. And I advised the driver if he would like to try that key to unlock it. The driver refused to open the glove box. Can we open the glove box to look for the documents for this vehicle? Okay. All right. So here's the legal rule. They're called credentials, right? License and registration, the vehicle paperwork is referred to as credentials for the vehicle. Credential searches are lawful if the information is unavailable through another source, right? Like if you have the driver's license and it's their vehicle and you can just look up an MDT, the courts would probably want you to do that. And the driver refuses or is unable to provide the information. Is that what's happening here? Is this driver basically refusing to provide the information? Yes. Is this information available from another source? No, because you want to see the contract, the registration. That is making sure that this is not a stolen car and they're authorized to drive it and so forth. So there's information on that rental contract that you could use, right, to prove that they lawfully have it. So I don't have a case directly out of California, but I do have a very relatively recent case out of New Jersey. In my opinion, if New Jersey's allowing it, California's allowing it, because New Jersey is a very restrictive state. But this is a case where the officer asked for the person's paperwork and the credentials, and they refused to give it. And the court in Terry said this: in our review, a weighing of the driver's individual privacy rights against the government's legitimate interest in promoting highway and public safety leads to the conclusion that a limited registration search exception rests on solid constitutional ground. We continue to stand with those jurisdictions that have held the same. The rationale for a limited registration search exception is: 1. The minimal invasion of the driver's reasonable expectation of privacy, right? When they drive around in this car, do they expect that if they get lawfully pulled over, they're going to have to provide some paperwork? The answer is yes. Number 2, the furtherance of public safety in general and officer safety in particular. Is this going to help that this is the person is lawfully driving the vehicle and there's promoting general roadway safety? Yeah, I think so, right? The court's going to give you this one. Also, this situation screams officer safety issues, right? The whole thing just screams officer safety issues. I'll get to that in a second. And number 3, the recognition that for constitutional purposes, a brief and restricted search is arguably less intrusive than impounding the vehicle and conducting an inventory search later. In other words, hey, since you can't prove who you're lawfully driving this vehicle, especially a rental car, again, we are talking about this situation. If the car is theirs, and they give you a license and you run the tag and everything's coming back to them, then maybe write them tickets for not giving you the registration. Write them a ticket for not giving you the insurance, right? That's what I would do, right? But if the car is expired and so forth, then do what you got to do. So that's what's going on. Accordingly, after a driver is given the opportunity to present the vehicle's ownership credentials but is unwilling or unable, right, they're transported to the hospital to do so, a police officer may engage in a pinpointed search limited to those places such as a glove box where proof of ownership is ordinarily kept. So what is my suggestion? What would I do? I would have the driver exit the vehicle. I would then look in the vehicle in the center console and so forth, right where that paperwork could be, in the dash area. If I don't find it, I would get the keys from them. If they are, hopefully just get the keys from them without any use of force. But they really don't want to give the keys. Just let them know, hey, look, at this point, I'm going to I need this credential paperwork, right? I don't want to force open your glove box, right? I don't want to break anything. So, but push comes to shove. I think the law allows either getting the key from them or forcing the glove box open. You're going to have to make that choice on scene. But the law's in your favor, right? At least constitutionally. Is there a case law in California? No, that means that you're making it. But I would refer to this Terry case. Since we're on the topic, though, a couple things. Number one is this officer may have, depending on other circumstances, may have reasonable suspicion that the person may be armed and dangerous. This whole their answers, their disinterest in actually even looking in a place where the paperwork would be, not providing this paperwork, the car may be stolen, right? People that steal cars are often armed and dangerous with either a weapon or tools to break into stuff and so forth. I would see if there's maybe some armed and dangerous articulation here as well. The other thing is that this doctrine does not apply to driver's licenses, right? The courts are only applying it to credentials for the vehicle. This is a California case that's on point. We now hold that the Fourth Amendment does not contain an exception to the warrant requirement for searches to locate a driver's identification following a traffic stop. If they don't want to provide their driver's license or identification, then the courts want you to use other tools at your disposal. Arrest them, right? For not providing a license if it doesn't come back and so forth. If you can find them in MDT, cite them for not having a license in their possession while driving a vehicle. That's what they would like you to do in these situations. All right. So I hope this has helped you. Get it right every time. So please consider, before you leave, commenting, hitting the like button. That really does help the channel. Pass this around to your friends. Hopefully it helps. Put some comments below. If you have any follow-up questions or feedback, let me know. All right? All right. Thank you, guys. I'll see you next time.